just under $1,989,000. So just overall, just pretty solid all around. Pro Shop had a pretty good year as far as net income. A little lighter on the sales, but better on the bottom line with the cost of goods being a little better shape this year. Handicap fees, everything kind of just fell in line. Lessons, everything was right on the mark. And range fees continues to grow. We're at $245,869 this year, which was up from last year and beat budget. Budget was $210,000. So total income, we reached $4,400,000. Again, these are still somewhat drafts, but we expect them to be right about in that line item. And the cost of goods looked really pretty solid. Cost of goods, food and beverage was actually lower than last year, even though we beat the revenue number this year. So kudos to the staff, bringing in Jenna and Mark, the chef, and under Kevin's guidance, they did a great job. So really good work all around. So gross profits, $3,897,000. So quite a bit ahead of budget. And the big story on the expense side is going to be the water and the sewer. Even with the water and sewer being, we threw in 280, Brian, to about 280,000 on the expense side right now. We don't have a final number, but even if it's that number, we're still about 90,000 ahead on the bottom line. So well over $1 million in net income. So great shape. So all around. So again, we'll get these cleaned up, get these to the town once they're ready to release them. Well, then obviously we'll share the full financials with the committee. Okay. So anybody, any questions on those, or you just want to go in the rounds of golf a little bit, guys?
As you're doing that, live, introduce our newest committee member, Dennis Wysocki. So this year we have 3 relatively new committee members. So looking forward to new sets of eyes on everything and working with you guys.
Yeah.
Thank you. I know it's been a while.
Yeah, welcome all, and again, always great to have the support from the township. And just obviously, goes without saying, January's been a pretty cold, snowy month. So these first 3 bullets are pretty short and sweet here for January. These are just rounds played through January 27th. Excuse me, that rounds played through 121, 30 rounds. We had this time last year, we had 496 rounds played in January, and you can see the green fees and cart fees this year was combined $1,149 versus where we were last January, certainly ahead of it, $17,834. F&B kind of pretty much right there. We had one small event here at the beginning of the month, $2,271 this year versus $11,745 last year. You can see where that banquet sales was as well for the month. So as you saw with some of the marketing, we'll touch on that a little later. I know the team has been putting together some different off-season events and karaoke's and some different things, kind of happy hours and things like that. So certainly in our off-season months here with that. As we go right into the golf course update, obviously this is time of the year where we're certainly not only just turning the calendar over, but just looking at all of our registration processes. Our association calendar got out to the players that were with us last year, and we'll get that up on the site here for our association for all of our players, our added events at the end. And I know we're gonna kind of reformat the women's event. We're gonna, with Helen and everybody here and the committee, we'll get a ladies group together, really put our arms around the rebranding of that. That's later in August, like it's always been. So that's on the calendar as well. And that's been sent, that went out on the 22nd last Friday. And then we'll start registration typically early February for that. That'll start coming through for association players, both men and ladies. Our ladies and men's events, or excuse me, our men's and ladies leagues we've communicated with them as far as when registration is going to start up. And that again will be in the middle of February, right around the 15th, give or take, just kind of finalizing a few things in-house. My assistant Joe, as you all know, he's been kind of spearheading our junior golf for the last number of years and is doing a little bit more this year. We have all the links and save the dates and all the formats of everything up, and registration will go out and get started on March 10th. And typically, I think last year, it filled up in 36 hours. So we're pretty fortunate. So we've been working with Monica and the team here at Parks and Rec, with Mike and Kevin and I and Joe. We've had some nice conversations with them. So we're really getting a chance to get ahead of the calendar, not just for camps and clinics, or just a nice collaboration from intro golf to adults to juniors. So it should be pretty good. So that'll be out in the quarterly newsletter as well. And then just a couple notes on, season. Hopefully, as if we can get the snow off the ground here as February turns, we can actually start playing some golf. But March 3rd, we start changing tee times a little bit. And right now in the winter on the weekends, I know we really haven't had any golf, but when we do play, we always do a double tee start on the 1st and 10th on Saturday and Sundays. Those that have played in the winter kind of are familiar with that. Once we get into the kind of what we call spring shoulder season, which is early March, that goes away. So just the double tee starts are just through winter. So we'll see when we can get open, as long as Mark and the crew and everybody feel comfortable, and the course can drain out pretty well. And Kevin and all of us agree. We'll see when we can open, but we're not sure yet. We're just going a couple days at a time. And we'll see. The rates will change as the spring shoulder rates kind of kick into effect Sunday, April 6th. So I don't know if there's anything else, gents, you have to add to that, Kev? Or
no, I don't think so. I think from the golf side, what you see is what you get, right? This time of year. Last couple Februarys, I think we had some 60-degree days and it was fabulous. And this year it's just kind of came back around the other way. So on a positive note, if you look at the roughly 496 rounds, we probably saved 49,000 divots this time of year. Just how I would look at that for now and call that a positive. So we're gonna, we're working on the positives in 2025. We're gonna be positive. So yeah, and into what Mike's numbers were and some of that stuff we had already mentioned. There's that startup cost of, it was my first year in house putting my eyes on the property. It was Jenna's first year in house in the food and beverage. It was Mark's first year back in house. And getting the team right and organized took a little time and stuff. So having this winter and actually some downtime to really get organized this winter and roll into the spring feels like a real nice opportunity to get going well once spring hits. So that was just, it's not a number, but it's built into the number, kind of that feeling of last year, now this year. So any questions on Ed's golf or anything else we had there?
Any damage? Given how cold it's been, anything that's showing up that's causing a problem, water or anything like that, grounds?
No, nothing yet at this point. I mean, Mark and Cameron have been out there, as they can get out there. But yeah, we're not seeing any issues yet. So.
And the heat's working.
The heat? Well, sometimes, yeah. We got another waiting on another part. They took care of one piece, and then now a motor that needs to get replaced. So that should hopefully be in. Yeah, that's what it seems like. But 25,
Mike,
20 years old.
The water, 280 on the water, right?
Yeah.
Maybe bring up some of the new members on the speed and everybody else. As far as the wells go, I understand it was extremely dry, worst case scenario. Any update on getting those wells to produce more? Did the Delaware River Basin Commission slow you down and pumping water, or
No, not,
Pumps working,
not,
let's
not
to
slowing
try
us
and see if we
down.
can't.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's really a matter of holding water and what the ponds are doing now.
So still the ponds are the issue and not being able to hold enough water. So
Yeah, I mean, the wells are producing and, doing as much as they're gonna do.
right.
I mean, we all know we were short one well from day one because we had three, they shut one off and we worked with two. When we fracked the one well, we did get a lot more volume out of and when we did frack it and reline it, so that helped a bunch. But over time now we're seeing, where we're at that point. But this year was so critical with the weather that we saw things we never saw before. Even in 2010, we never saw 15 pond dry up. I mean, at that.
So basically what we're saying is it's imperative that we get these ponds taken care of.
Yeah.
Save a lot of money in the long run.
Yeah. So I mean, I can jump ahead if you want.
No, I just wanted to,
I'm happy.
Ask the question about.
Yeah,
the
no, I mean,
water.
it's
It's the budget.
it's the most important thing we're going to talk about
Right.
tonight. So,
Thank you.
I can jump into that a little bit because obviously under capital, towards the end, we had the pond liners. So we had a company out. Derek did get a company that is a CoStar vendor to come out, and they do like sonar of the pond. So they give us an overview of the ponds, and then they can tell you exactly depths and exactly what's going on in there. So they basically they did that. We're waiting to hear back from them. We expect we'll hear back from them next week or two, and then set up a meeting and then kind of move forward. But the fortunate thing is there is somebody on CoStar, so it may alleviate the need to go to bid for us, which would save a lot of dollars and a lot of time, and to be able to move on this project in the fall. So the goal is still there. I think the supervisors and Dave and town manager is, I think everybody's, supportive of that. I believe at this point, obviously we haven't presented that with, a final number yet. So when that comes, and that's where we'll get our final answer. But at this point, I think everybody understands the importance of it. I mean,
And as these meetings are now televised and more people can hear them.
Yeah.
How important it is to make sure these liners get done.
yeah, I
And I
mean,
think as a committee, we all would agree, this is number one.
yeah,
Because look how much money we could save by using outside water
yeah,
to get these done.
yeah. And
That's
some
the point I was really trying to make here is that
Yeah.
this is number one priority.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, just jumping back to the number real quick, the number, a very large number this year, some of that we would not be dealing with the sewer cost next year. If we do have to turn on the water, we will get the sewer deduct through. So they're going to do some work on the meters so that they can properly monitor the water going into the ponds for us, so that we can make that typical deduct that we used to make in the past. So it's a little, not a little, it's a lot higher than it would have been if we had the deduct this year. So
Why didn't we have the deduct?
because the way it was set up, it was put in kind of opposite. So they had no measurement they weren't able to, it's almost put in backwards, that basically. Well, now we're dealing with Aqua. So Aqua, has to have it a certain way. So we have to get that corrected.
Because it wasn't put in right, that's not their fault necessarily getting a credit.
We tried, we tried for a while, and they're, at this point we made the payment. So that does not look like it. No. But yeah, we did make an effort certainly to
Should try and help with that.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. So again, that wouldn't be an issue going forward though. So that's where that's at. But so the pond liners, absolutely number one thing on our list to get accomplished. And Derek, like I said, Derek did find the company. So we feel pretty confident that hopefully this, once we get to sit down with them and get numbers together, we'll be able to present that to the supervisors.
I don't know what his schedule is and your schedule, but we should plan on getting it to the supervisors sooner rather than later so we can get on their actual schedule to get the work done before. Again, not knowing how busy they are.
Yeah, it's really just as soon as we hear back from, I talked to Dave today, so as soon as he's gonna reach back out to them just to follow up, and as soon as we get with them and we got some numbers, we were ready to go. So we'll keep you posted and if it's in between meetings. Okay. Good. All right, you want to jump back? Anything else on golf that you want to do, or you want to hit F&B, Kev?
Yeah, F&B. Remembering back this time last year, we were interviewing chefs, and we're having a little tough time doing that. And then we were lucky to grab Mark closer to Memorial Day. So that's the time period we're working on here. And this is about the time when Jenna got into the building last year. Sometime between Valentine's Day and March 1st is when Jenna started last year. So we're just coming up on a year of that stuff. And so that's kind of how we're looking at year-to-date type stuff there. Jenna's tried to put together some events in January, much to her credit, some happy hours and some trivia events and such. And many of them have occurred on the same day, some snow coming in, and just has caused for really tough traction when we're trying to get that going. We looked at an Italian night last weekend, got snow that day, 3-4 inches, had to cancel. So it hasn't really gone well. She's tried real hard to put out some good events and market them out ahead of time, but we just haven't had lady luck on our side when it comes to that. So that's what we're going to keep doing. She's got her Galentine's event coming up, some sip and paints and stuff for the ladies coming up in February, which should be fun, already with some really good interest. And then our Valentine's dinner scheduled. We had that last year as well, coming up as well. So those are things on the schedule. We're marketing, we're promoting, we're working that through the online and social medias pretty heavily. So you should see that out there. The bar is open Wednesday to Sundays, and then weather permitting. So, basically we're following the weather. It's really down and really cold and no one's around. We're light on the schedule, but if we see any days coming up where there's action, we open right up. So we try and announce that as soon as we can see the weather ahead of time. So, in addition to that, we had 3 banquet events in January. All went pretty well. A little chilly on the last one, I think, with some heat kind of giving us a little bit of knowledge, but everybody seemed to have a good time with it rather than have a problem with it. Jenna did a good job of kind of, hosting that event and keeping everybody at ease. But everyone else, January's hit or miss, food and beverage time of year. We get some great days and some good golf days. We're going to get some drinks and food flowing. And if the weather's kind of stagnant, it's tough to overcome. But we feel like we're in a good place. We're able to get a lot of other things done. Carpet steam clean throughout the building, things you probably couldn't do if we were really busy. So we're able to kind of take advantage of some downtime, clean up the building, and get some things organized that way. So a lot of good happening there. Like I said, we took a shot at the Italian night, looked good. I was going to be in on that. So we'll keep working on those events as we move forward. So we'll have some fun events for Valentine's Day and to St. Patrick's Day and such moving forward. So,
Kevin, I guess it's a little short on time, but any suggestions maybe for Super Bowl? Have you guys thought about any of that?
I'm gonna leave.
Yeah, we have. Yes, sir. We've done it on a few different things over the years, and it seems the one thing that has been successful has been our wings to go. Like, people being able to come and grab, to-go boxes or, almost like little trays. We've done it where we've had, the Super Bowl kind of themed event at the club, and everybody, it seems like they are either going to a neighborhood party or they're having something at their house. But on the back end, right when we were dealing with COVID, when Mark was with us, 15, 25, 50, 3 different types of sauces, crudités, that kind of thing. You could click it online. You could select the time that you wanted to pick it up, and it worked. And so I think those are some of the things that we've been thinking about that because we've tried both ways. So I think that's what the team's talking about.
Anything else on food and beverage? Mike, do you have anything? Okay. Do you want to hit grounds or do you want me to?
Yeah, good.
Grounds update. The big thing is that we received the mowers that we've waited almost 2 years on. They're in-house.
They are here.
So it took a long time, but they arrived, and they look to work and they fire up, and we're happy about all those things. So we should have some really good fresh cuts in the spring. So we're really excited about that. That's been the highlight, unfortunately. Mark and Cam have done a lot of work in the shop and kind of lubricating the reels and getting everything else in order for the season. Typical standard winter off-season project work. Mark's makes a pass on the golf course every day, check on ice and other issues that could be, down to 5 and 14, all the snow sitting back there. So tough to pass back there. But, we had a little melt today.
We did.
So it was good. We probably had 10% melt today from the time we got there this morning till the time we left. So positive sign. I think Tuesday, Wednesday, you have some good temps as well to get some more melt there. So the grounds is just, Paul, Cam, and Mark are in every day, kind of handling all the equipment and taking care of that. And then, we're hounding them for help with different things in the building as well as we need them. So, so far so good. Hope to get a little light at the end of the tunnel here soon and get on the golf course because, starting to hear the Masters music in my head already. So,
It's coming.
but the equipment's here, so that's a good sign. And then the rest is just kind of wait and see on the weather.
Kevin, any problems with snowmobilers? The snow last few years, we haven't dealt with it. We've dealt with the past.
No,
Fortunately,
Nothing-
yeah, knock on wood,
So
nothing,
far, so good.
nothing this year. No, nothing.
Yeah.
Any issues.
not really. We had a couple days we've had guys go out through the snow and pick up golf balls on the range. Our guys,
Yeah, we've done
that's
some
really,
in-house, but-
there's been some, some deer traffic and there's been some other stuff, but nothing really to report
Yeah,
that's been
nothing to
negative.
report,
So.
They didn't use them for a long time.
Right.
For the new members, a bunch of years ago now, we had people out there with snowmobiles. Cross-country skiers too, every once in a while.
Sometimes
Right.
that, yeah. And sometimes they'll park, the pond hockey, they'll park on your side, the Delaware River Rim and come across and but we haven't seen any of that.
Yeah, that takes a while for the pond to freeze up and I haven't seen it this year, but I've seen it in the past.
Yeah.
But this year, nothing.
Kevin, just refresh my memory. How many mowers and are there fairway mowers or
Yeah.
three
Great.
and fairway?
Yeah.
Thanks.
Can I ask, where are we in the cycle of the carts? I'm sorry, this is making a question, but
Coming up on year.
carts ready to be
5.
replaced?
Yeah, year 5 coming up. So last year.
This is year 5
This
of
is year
5
5 of 5.
on the current lease. So.
Yeah.
One other question. Like you were talking about the revenues earlier, you talked about range revenues. Does that include top tracer revenue?
Mhm. Yeah.
All right.
When do we renegotiate or when do we go out and get bids for the carts again? We can stay with, these are Yamaha?
Yeah, we'll look this year. I'll start looking the next,
This
know,
spring.
usually March, April.
Is it in the fall they come in? New ones or?
Yeah, they'll come in. Yeah, I mean, it's like first of the year is how we're going scheduled. So, I mean, there may be an opportunity to flip them early. I don't know. We'll see.
I know 5 is probably a economical timeframe. Is it worth looking at something shorter?
When we were doing electric, 4 was kind of the magic number. With gas, 5 tends to be a better number, just price wise and the cost of them. They get a little tired for sure towards the end. But like I said, there may be an opportunity because the used car market's still pretty strong. So they're flipping out of stuff a little earlier to get you back in something so that they can get the used market. So there is some possibility we may do it sooner. Yeah.
Big spike in rounds too. The last 4 years that maybe we anticipated a little bit, but not as much. So the rounds, we probably did, I think over the last 4 or 5 years, 25,000 more rounds than maybe we thought we might do.
Mhm.
So I think that had some wear and tear on the carts as well.
Right.
You want to hit marketing? You want me to hit marketing?
Yeah, it's just, you kind of touched on that
Yeah.
with the fourth food and bev.
Yep. So marketing, as you see, we laid out what Andy kind of spelled out for us. That's kind of where we're putting our efforts right this time of year. As we move into late February, March, it'll be more about registrations, golf events, leagues, some outings that'll
Some
kick
outings,
off in the
stuff.
spring. So that's kind of where that will go. A lot of work. We were just down at the PJ show this week. Mike and myself, along with Andy, our marketing director, went down as well. So did a lot of work with our POS systems and kind of doing some marketing research down there to figure out some better ways to kind of communicate with the, with the residents in the world. And then, so a lot of good things learned down there. So we're just going to keep hitting social media. It just gets bigger and bigger and go from there.
AI.
A lot of AI.
AI.
Yeah.
AI out there. But just speaking on point of sale real quick, we are going to make a flip mid-February into March 1st with Club Caddy. So we'll be moving away from our current vendor. Just been a lot of downtime, a lot of issues with them. The credit card piece was not what they promised us, and they never got it. So I gave them till November. They didn't get there. And so we made the move. Got some great rates on the credit card. And what it'll do, it'll help us a lot because no matter which way they use the credit card, whether card on file or dip or chip, we get the same rate. So we don't have any extra fees that we're going to pay. So big difference. That was about a $60,000 swing last year. So we were backing off allowing the use of the card on file because it was costing us so much. Now we'll be able to bring back that benefit to the resident and to the association members and the league players who really enjoyed that. And it won't cost us. So it'll be a great add-on again. And the staff. Yeah.
We don't have a service charge for credit card fees.
There's a service charge, but it'll stay consistent. So if the way the other program worked, if they didn't dip it, they charged you more. So we're paying more
I'm
for.
talking about us paying us, charging a surcharge to customers for using a credit card.
A convenience fee.
Convenience fee.
Convenience fee, right?
We doing that?
We're kind of back and forth between rate and convenience fee. So I think we talked a little bit about this, that we should probably just blend it into the rate instead of putting a convenience fee at it at this point. So unless we have some other thoughts that the committee wants to talk about again. I know we went back and forth on it.
We can talk about it, committee. I mean, my personal opinion, convenience fee feels like you're nickel and diming. Just put it in.
Yeah, it's much less than it used to be. Your cash would go up if you put a convenience fee in. I mean, I've done this at other courses where we had the convenience fee and then the cash usage goes up. Our admin costs go up a little bit again because now you're back the other way counting cash again and spend a lot of time doing that. But it's there. I mean, people are very used to convenience fees at this point. So I don't know if Alan, if you got any thoughts on it.
Blended in the rate, Mike.
Yeah.
I don't believe in
At this level of club, I think it's smart too. Yeah.
I don't do it on my golf course, as you know.
Yeah. Yeah. All across the board, I think what we'll do is just look at the pricing and then just try to blend in a one-time. Yeah. Right. You won't see it. You won't see it. Correct. There'll be some slight increases in rates, which we were kind of due for a rate increase anyway. So it's pretty good timing. All right. Yeah, I'll jump back into capital if we're okay on marketing. Like I said, this time of year, it's just mostly food and beverage. But it'll be nice. The new registration piece, February 15th, we'll put out, and the tools through Club Caddy are much slicker than we've had in the past. So it'll be a really nice, clean registration process on the website. So it'll make it easy. And then there's a league management tool in the software as well. So we'll be able to manage the leagues right through the software. So it'll be great. So just going back on capital, we talked about the liners. The other piece that we're really focused on is the bar. So we're, getting all the numbers together for the walk-in and the bar replacement, trying to update the bar itself. We got a lot of plumbing issues under the bar, so we have to do something. So at minimum, we're going to be doing the guts of the bar if we don't do a new fresh refresh of the bar. So we'd like to kind of get it back to what we did with the other banquet piece that we added last year and kind of match that up and put some nice surfaces out there and get that looking great. So that's the goal right now. We got all our numbers pretty much together. So Kevin and I got some meetings coming up in the next couple of days, and hopefully we'll have get this thing off the ground so we can get it done this winter. And then the other piece, the only other thing we're working on is the deck. Not knowing what the pond's final number is. Obviously, that's the key piece, but we're going to kind of still move on these other two items, which was the clubhouse bar, and then just trying to get engineering and drawings done for the deck so we can get some ideas, so we can really, tackle that as as the next big, ROI opportunity, I think, for us to make an improvement out there. So those are the three things that this year will be focused on. Obviously, we got some deferred maintenance, with heaters and other things that we know are going to come up. So we'd rather kind of be prepared for that, and rather than, we're not going to plan to change anything, but be prepared if we need to. We'll have the capital for it. Okay. So that is where we are at currently. So, and February is going to be really exciting because we're not going to have much in January going on.
Negative question. With the bar, I wasn't here when I guess that all started. What is it that we need to do? Are you ripping up like the bar itself? Is it in the back? A walk-in, I get, but-
the whole plumbing on the back end of the bar, the drains are just failing at this point, so they have to be replaced. But to replace them, you literally got to kind of rip the bar
You're gonna just
face out.
everything.
So it just makes sense at that point to replace it with new, and then put new plumbing in, and then obviously you put a new surface on the top.
Okay.
And then looking at the back bar, we'd like to match it up with what we did, in that banquet space, that little piece we did with the, you see that new area that we built?
Barn doors that slide.
Yeah.
Oh, yes,
Casing
yeah,
was.
yeah, yeah.
So that material, that look. So
Okay.
just kind of blend it all together.
Bar, same shape, size.
Yeah, technically.
Sure, we'll get renderings and drawings.
Yeah, we have two options right now. One that does straighten it out a little bit and extends it, just gives us a little more room.
Okay.
We push it out a little bit further.
And a service window on the other side, like you're coming up so the staff can come in and out if you're walking by the men's and ladies' bathrooms.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll send, actually, I just got two sets of drawings, so I'll send both to you guys so you can
Yeah,
take a
that'd be
peek at them. And now I'm just trying to get final pricing, so depends on where that goes. We'll know which way we're going.
We'll be done league starts, what, April, gap?
Yeah, I mean, that's the goal. If we can get it in April, by April, that's, you got a lot to do in a short time, so. Yes, sir. Yep. Okay, any other questions? That's what we have for the day.
Anything else for the committee? For Spirit, sorry. Committee, we have some business to take care of. These guys can go.
Okay,
All right.
thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, Mike, they're there. They're working. Their office. He worked with Mike before, but he was down, he was at Five Ponds. And then he was, thanks, guys. So, yeah. So a couple of things. Number one, we have a new supervisor liaison. We do, and that's why they're not here. So it's James McCartney again. So I'm going to reach out. So just so you know, because I can't really stop this, but just so everybody knows, he's been our liaison before, and he's not always at all our meetings. So I'm going to reach out. Suzanne was a good. She was here, so I think it's important, especially now talking about the capital. So just so you know that. So that's number one. So I'll reach out to James. Second thing is, so for the new members, each year at this time, we have to elect positions on the committee. So it's chairman, vice chairman, and recording secretary. So we have to either elect or re-elect folks. So with that, as my last official duty as chairman for 2024, can I get a all in favor? Aye. Thank you. Yeah. Can I get a motion for a vice chairman? Who was our current vice chairman? Our current vice chairman was Mark. Mark is not here. No, he's off. He's off. So he resigned. He moved to Florida.
In Florida right now.
So can I get a nomination? Any of the new guys interested? The new folks interested? And I'll nominate Rick Ryan for vice chairman. All in favor? Okay. And the most important job, recording secretary, take the minutes, make sure the minutes get published.
You're doing so well. Either that or Joe.
Joe's not on the committee anymore. I'll second that.
No.
Joe left a while ago.
You haven't seen my notes yet.
Can I, all in favor of Colin?
Aye.
Thank you. Our next meeting is I have to look at the calendar. Typically it's the last Monday of the month. So whatever that day is. She probably did, but that doesn't mean I can find the email on my phone. What is it? Okay, so we have a choice. I mean, there's not going to be a lot to talk about in the February meeting. So in order for us, we do periodically cancel meetings. If we were to cancel the February meeting, we just need to let the township know some number of weeks in advance. I'm not suggesting we do that now, but as it gets closer, we can see what's going on. Yeah, we did not go into January thinking about that this year. But then I think the meetings become more important as you get to spring and then season. So think about that and just let me know.
We agree.
On I think the pond and yeah. Yeah, so I agree, Rick. So I think we should have the February meeting if we, it could be abbreviated. There's not gonna be a lot to talk about given the weather, I don't think. We should. So the other thing, so some of you guys have been to meetings, before you were appointed to the committee, but it feels like, and I got this feedback from Suzanne too, but as a committee, we kind of just listen to them and we could become more, she wasn't a directive, but it was more, maybe a little bit, but it was more, give them some more guidance. And I responded to her with that was, we've done that in the past and we've gotten smacked down by the township, by the supervisors in the past. So I do think we can be a little bit more, give more guidance on topics and get some feedback and see if there's things that are of value, be more than just an advisory committee, guidance advisory, I guess is the same thing, but a little bit more, with ideas and things and change it up a little bit. Go ahead.
So example, to have them comment on, for example, by April, they will know. Full laundry. All dishes. Starts last year in terms of. Reading a what it's.
And I think, I agree, Helen, and I think if we give them in advance, we want to talk about this at the next meeting, here's the questions, we don't blindside them with anything.
Right.
I don't think that's a bad thing, to do. And the other thing, and again, yeah, and I think Suzanne stopped this. They would come here and we'd go through the financials. And I think there was a legitimate reason why we stopped doing that at the meeting, and had something to do with us seeing them ahead of time, because then they weren't official numbers and things like that. But what I do think we could get, and the committee could certainly provide some feedback on this, is a dashboard. So we're all, all of us who work in industry, we know how to do PowerPoints, we know how to do that kind of stuff. A 1 or 2 slide PowerPoint dashboard with this year versus last year, some KPIs and things like that wouldn't be a bad thing, again, to get from them in one page. And we don't have to go through the whole financials, but a visual way to look at it, we're on TV now, would also be a good thing. And, I can show them, and I'm sure there's other people in the room that can show them how to do it in PowerPoint and in Excel, but that's something I think that would be beneficial as well.
Yes, I mean, they sort of were touching on, hey, this.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'll talk to Mike about that. I've talked to him about it before, but somebody's gonna have to show them how to do it in Excel and PowerPoint, but. All right, so send me a note. Oh, yeah, I know who she is. She's really good.
Like, for example, with the daughter, like, what happened? What happened this month?
Look at the budget, because I haven't seen the budget. Yeah.
Because last year there was 496 rounds
Right.
in January to do what?
Last year was odd, but the flip side of it is if you do 500 rounds, and Alan can speak to this, you got to staff up, you've got expense associated with it. So I don't know what the break even is. You still lose money. You may actually lose less if you don't do any rounds. I'm not sure what.
Right, we just may not hit a revenue number.
Right.
Or something, things like that are just like, and is that okay, or is it gonna pick it up? Or?
I don't know the January numbers were from 20.
Right. Yeah, because figure out some number, there's probably 20%, I would say, 9-hole rounds. They don't charge the full rate. Most people walk.
So my 27-holer, I average about 100,000.
Yeah, but I don't ever remember seeing 100 grand for Makefield in January. Maybe 30, but.
A nice 3-year historical. And I know Mike and Evan had the revenue side. The revenue
pretty much a lot of it. Used to get all that information.
So, if there's a list of things you want to see, share them with Mike, copy the committee. And, put it in, document it in an email so you have it and we'll talk about it. And Pat, if, reach out to Mike and see if, connect him with your daughter and, from a dashboard, somebody goes onto Google, put golf course, you would have it, golf course performance dashboard, we'll get them to give us something. It'll be an easier discussion than just the numbers.
And getting it in advance would work. I mean, usually we get those financials, we're here. It takes a lot to get what it's actually saying written down and comparatives of. I always look at revenue because I'm the food guy. Look at the revenue and food and what it's really costing us. And there's fluctuations in that. Sometimes we get more revenue, but the cost of getting that revenue isn't as high. It fluctuates.
My saying is sales cures all ails. Not always.
No, not at all. Not at all. But I'd like to get it in advance.
You say that. My little note was of that one.
Yeah.
As a part of it, what's a bad thing?
Yep. We've never really had that breakdown.
Let's ask him.
It's in the financials, but you got to find it yourself. It would be great if it was on here as a point and done.
Okay.
So Rich, what would this committee's role be? Any changes to deck?
So we're advisory, so we could go to the township and say, this is a bad idea. So we could do that. Or we could go to I wouldn't do that behind their back, because I think the relationships are important. I think we could go to them and say, have you thought about this? Or this is a great idea. What about that? Pat and I and Helen have been on this committee the longest, and Colin's been here for a while now. They don't always hear. I don't know that the township always hears. So I think the more we do in the public forum is more likely somebody else hears it,
We had a lot more work to do. We were really involved in it. A lot less.
Yeah,
As far as that kind of stuff goes.
but they listen, we were definitely involved when they decided what they were going to do with the bunkers, Billy bunkers or the
Like
the
that.
macadam, we were real involved with that.
Yeah, we were very involved when we went through the changes.
Yeah.
And they were very open to it.
There were other things that this committee, be glad you weren't here, really got fussy over the logo, which hasn't
And
changed.
a few other.
Which hasn't changed. And I remember conversations with other golfers who were on the committee and said, well, we need a logo that's iconic, like Marion's or like Wingfoot's or like Baltusrol. And the response was, guys, we're not Wingfoot, Marion, or Baltusrol. And the logo isn't bad, and so, I think, frankly, I think the committee lost credibility in those conversations with them because we just went on over and over and over again.
I think the logo's cool too, by the way. I always bring shirts to my buddies when I play on their member guests, and all of their friends go like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
They
so,
really compliment.
so there were two voices that were squeaky voices that just didn't like it. And
There's a time I remember where clubs had like
yeah,
I heard there was.
there's a member logo and a non-member logo.
Yeah, I mean, I thought
Silo.
it was a kind of cool idea, but.
Well,
Doesn't translate well.
if you, it was an inappropriate, I don't want to tell you what my kids said. So it wasn't.
The reason I asked about like,
Just leave it there.
the reason I asked about like our role on, when they're doing design, like changing the interior. It sounds like they're just gonna replace the bar, almost like for like, just to get at the plumbing and stuff. And if it's possible, to me, that would be maybe a potential missed opportunity, because how many times have you walked into a place where, it's a cool bar, the design wants to invite you back. They maybe could do something that's even a little, without maybe costing a lot more, different, and be more inviting and more appealing to people who go in once and go, I'm gonna come back here and have a drink sometime. I just don't know if we have that.
We do.
ability.
Well, we have the ability to say and suggest and vote and whether or not they do what we suggest. I think I always do feel like they listen.
But the they
You
would
know,
be supervisors you're talking about?
No, it's spirit.
No,
Spirit.
spirit.
They listen.
You know,
Right,
no,
the
something
other-
like that
So what is
spirit.
that dynamic then? Like, can they do what they would like and the supervisors have
So
already given them carte blanche within a budget, or the supervisors have to approve?
I think it's combination. I think it's mostly budget. I don't know that this group of supervisors has a strong opinion about one way or the other. So I think, as long as it's something that's not out of line, they're gonna have to get approval, but I think it's tied more to budget. We hired them for a reason. They do a good job. And so, yeah. So, if somebody has an idea, what we've done in the past with certain things, when we were going through the whole thing with the food and beverage, when we were really, I think, went a little sideways with the tent and other stuff, we had a subcommittee. Yeah. And the subcommittee was a couple of folks who had the time, who were local.
I went to meetings. I went to their meeting every Thursday when they had all their people together, and we really made some progress on that. And we moved, because in the past they had just had cooks there, people they got, and then they hired a chef, and it changed and elevated. I felt it elevated the food, and it stayed at that level. And now that's the situation we're still in. We have a good chef in there, although we went through a few little bumps on that one, and that changed. And they were open to all of that. So when we come up with an idea and present it to them, they're always up for it.
If somebody has sorry, Helen, if somebody has an idea about the bar, I wouldn't sit on it. I would put it into an email, copy, send it to the committee, Mike, and whoever was on the email I sent this morning. So we have it memorialized and they get it. And because things, all of a sudden you'll find out, one of us will go over there in 4 weeks, you'll see, where's the bar? So at that point, it's too late.
With
So
respect to the bar, this was the first time that they were changing it so that it stuck out in the room.
Yeah. So it separated the room, the pass when people come in, made it that, and then put a more of a food thing behind it too, where certain food items were available behind the bar, like another.
That's what I was at.
Ripping up.
So, so the plan they showed us was it in November or October of last year, where the bar went forward. So the back of the bar, servers could go that way to get to the other side of the room, and it made the pass very separate than the bar area, the way it was designed. And I thought it was a great design on that. So
Yeah, that's why.
So again, ask the questions, put them in emails to them. If you're there and you have a discussion, follow up with an email so we have it documented.
And there was talk of the deck being open with garage.
That would be hugely expensive.
Yeah.
So I'd be surprised if that happened. I understand.
My wife would always say, can we do this?
Right, so,
So it's, a lot of it's gonna come down. to
but, you know,
dollars.
it's not big enough. So if you think, and look at the shape of it. So they want, if they, you know where the steps are coming up from? They were thinking, I think, of making it straight and going the length of the building and making it bigger.
Okay. So
Um,
it's not a structural.
no, they did structural work.
Expanding it and all that.
I think they did structural work on it already.
They wanna cover it, so-
Cover it. Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely needs to be covered. You've been there on a hot day.
An awning or something that's not going to blow away.
And in order to get it with a roof, it has to be reshaped.
I mean, you do it the right way with, well, a real roof, you could draw down, if it starts to rain, you're sitting out there, you could pull down rain shield, you know, stuff like that. There's a lot,
Really blow it out.
but the question is,
Beautiful. And have
you
ceiling
know,
fans in there.
yeah, and heaters, you know, the question becomes, and I'm gonna use Mike's words, is it gonna, are people gonna come down the driveway other than golfers, right? And, you know, I'll get my wife there when we play on a Friday afternoon, or, you know, maybe, where do you wanna go? I don't know, let's go to the golf course, you know, but there's a lot of other places, and you know, any of you guys who are married, no, it's just, it's just okay.
I did bring my wife
Right.
to Valentine's Day last year. I asked her if she wants to go this year. She said no.
Yeah, you know, so,
I
and
know.
I
It
think,
wasn't bad.
It's like-
It wasn't bad.
and I think the food's okay, you know, if you think about our choices are growing in this area,
Well,
right?
that's right. There's
And-
a lot of competition.
Oh, you know, now,
There's a lot of competition.
and there's gonna be, over by Wegmans, at least 2 outdoor places. That new place, Yardbird's got a big outside, and the place, the La Stalla place that's gonna open up is gonna have outside, so,
Because that was the only thing.
no. So,
And my theory is when the husband is away for 4 to 5 hours, goes home, the last place that he really wants to go is back to the golf course.
no, they gotta be there with you to, like, we play 9 holes, let's go, where do you wanna go?
And even that's a struggle.
And so that's, at that point, on a Friday night, if I had a couple beers on the course, and then, where do you wanna go? It's like, home or the Continental or here, because I hate the Continental. Okay, so then, you know, it's here.
It's not as easy.
When you have Firebirds around.
Yeah,
So
Firebirds
as
is
far as
busy.
priorities are concerned, is
sure why.
pond, clubhouse.
So that was always, so again, for those of you who haven't been on the committee, and I remember some of this stuff, we had conversations early on about doing things, and and at that point, money was, you know, they were busy, but it wasn't what it is today. It's like, we should put, this was me, no money into anything other than the course. Okay, and they put up that fence for safety purposes. That's there now, the post and rail fence, because we had talked about that early on, about putting up a fence, and no, and then they kind of had to. But you guys who play this course a lot, I mean, there's plenty of work that can be done on that golf course. You know,
My simple thought is. Fees, fee, and all this other stuff.
there's options.
There's other options. There's a lot. that come with
Almost $90, so.
Which I thought was expensive.
And for courses that aren't as nice as Makefield.
There's 47 million golfers. So what that also tells you is.
Pace of play where it needs to be after. But that's a different discussion. So, all right,
We used to go out. Like still,
here's a ball repair tool, you know.
Make sure you.
You know,
We kind of got away from that.
yeah, so let's come to the next meeting with, you know, some ideas for them. They'll support, they won't have any issue with that. They'll support that.
They love it. Absolutely.
You know, and then we used to tie it to other events at the course where, you know, we knew there would be a lot of golfers, not, you know, like an outing kind of thing, or what the Folds of Honor, that kind of stuff, but that's too late in the year. We want to do something in the spring. You got to show them how to do it, some of these guys, but all right, no, good suggestion, Pat. Let's bring that up at the next meeting. All right, I'm missing the Bachelor. No. Can I get a motion to adjourn? Second,
I'll make a second.
all in favor? Thank you, everybody.